filled with wellness, transformation, and fun. Welcome to the hashtag YTMC Meet, hosted by the Wellness and Aesthetic Institute of the Medical City. We're here today to celebrate and rediscover what holistic wellness means to all of us. It's really important to address the need to manage and care for your mental and physical health at any stage of life, including all of you and me. So when we ask why TMC, our answer is why not? Begin your journey to holistic health and wellness at YTMC. To formally start this event, may I call on the CEO of the Medical City, Dr. Eugenio Ramos.
So when you get well, you become so tall. You're a tall woman. How tall are you?
Only 5'7". Actually, we do
5'7".
Our Miss World and Miss Universe Philippines.
Oh my goodness. Welcome.
Oh my God.
The whole training is going to focus on the four of you, the five of you. You actually embody, I think, wellness in a sense. Wellness is feeling good and looking good. And when you feel good, you start to look good, even if you don't really look good. But you feel good, you know, the smile on your faces is good enough, right? And when you feel good, and when you are able to look good, and you can do something about it, sinasabi nga nila, if you don't really look so good, and you have plenty of money, hindi na kasalanan ng Diyos. Kasalanan nyo.
That's right.
How to use the money for that. But we're not talking about that. We're really talking about wellness and well-being. And wellness and well-being, in fact, in terms of the business, is the biggest market. Because more and more people now are fully aware of the importance of wellness, of having good health. Not only in terms of physical health, but also in terms of mental health. And mental health, because of the COVID thing, has really become a serious problem. So for the beauty contestants, the beauty pageant, the queens, you know, it's always like that. When you prepare for a pageant, Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss Earth, prepare on issue about health and mental well-being. And once you're able to really master it, you're gonna clinch the title. Anyway, Medical City is focused not only in terms of the illness part, although of course we have all the expertise, we have all the acumen and the facilities to diagnose and treat disease. As I have mentioned, the most important part is we bring our patients back to health. And among those of us who are really healthy to begin with, we want to make sure that we stay healthy, and we want to make sure that as we age, you know, we acquire wisdom and we acquire the composure that makes us really aim for happiness. This is all about happiness, Karen. And as I mentioned, you know, I was reading the newspaper this morning, and they say that in the Philippines, the biggest drop in birth rate has happened in 2021, 2022. So it's declining, and yet our population is increasing. We're now 107 million, and the reason for that is because Filipinos are living longer. They're living longer, and basically because of that, the reason for that is because we take care of our health better this time. So Medical City wants to be in the forefront, to be able to take care of people's health, not when they are sick, but even when they are healthy, so that we can continue to actually enjoy the kind of life that we would like to have. So, you know, Filipinas are known for their beauty, and we keep on winning the beauty titles, and we are so glad that you're here. But among those of us who are not as tall and as pretty as they are, we still aim for the same thing, which is basically to be healthy, to be well, and to enjoy the well-being of a healthy life. Thank you very much for coming. For those who are from the media, I hope that you help us. Not so much to focus on this event, but really to help us pursue what we are really trying to aim for, which is basically Filipinos trying to take full control of their own health. Hindi tayo nagdidepende sa ibang tao, hindi tayo nagdidepende sa gobyerno, tayo yung nagdidepende sa ating sarili para natin maasikaso ang ang kapakanan ng ating sarili at ating pamilya. And I think that's the kind of message that I would like you to, the content that I'd like you to pursue, that this is not all about all these beautiful things that you see, but this is all about really how do we help the Filipinos really gain the health. And not only gain the health, assume accountability for their own health. Now that's what Medical City message is. To assume responsibility for our own health. And to make sure that we are also living life to the fullest. Being happy, being healthy. Okay? Mga Miss Universe questions yan. So magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. And thank you very much for coming.
I'm truly honored to introduce the doctors who will walk us through YTMC's services. First up, YTMC Institute Director, let us welcome Dr. Christian Flores.
A beautiful afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure to see all of you here, and on behalf of the Wellness and Aesthetics Institute, I welcome you today to celebrate an important milestone for the Medical City's Wellness and Aesthetics. So I know for a fact that wellness is, up to now, a buzzword, even if this term is like 20, 30 years old. This was especially true after going through the COVID-19 pandemic. People recognize now more than ever the importance of building one's body, one's mind, to become resilient and disease-free. This is a lesson learned during the height of the pandemic, where people who got the worst of COVID were the ones who have chronic disease conditions such as overweight, obesity, hypertension, and diabetes, to name a few, whether they know it or not. In addition, as a result of the pandemic, since people resorted to using digital platforms for communication, telemeetings and teleconsultations, people got more conscious about their looks in front of their own webcams. So this is called the Zoom boom. It strengthens the realization that our looks and appearances, whether in front of the camera or face-to-face, greatly influences an individual's self-esteem and confidence. Wellness is a movement towards overall health. I'm sure all of you here know about wellness, and maybe some or maybe all of you do your own personal wellness, whether it's getting leaner, getting stronger, running your full marathon, or sleeping better, having more energy, to be happy, to look good and even look beautiful. So whatever that kind is, it's tied to something of higher value. And that is to experience life to its fullest and to truly live it to its full potential. Here in the Medical City, we pride ourselves in our own institution that brings together this unique experience to the individual, addressing their health needs from within to the external, with the goal of optimizing bodily functions, including mental health, and at the same time transforming one's look to something much more with radiance and with glow, since we believe that feeling good and looking good goes hand in hand. So what are we celebrating here today? What are we here for? Well, for starters, we are 20 years old as of this year. We started way back 2003 using just one small room in the second floor of the nursing tower. And now we are here in this one big integrated complex here at the 6th and 7th floor of the Podium building. Now, over the years, the Institute has transformed and evolved into a more holistic and integrated unit. And over the years, we have been providing health screening services. You know them commonly as the executive checkup, through our preventive health unit. It has its merits, we saw that, but in the long term, that is not enough to bring about a person's complete wellness. We have evolved it into a bigger integrated program using wellness approaches such as lifestyle medicine to intervene by fully addressing risk factors and root causes to prevent the onset of full-blown conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. This approach can also be used by individuals with already pre-existing medical conditions. These programs are multi-scope, addressing various aspects that affect overall health, such as food, movement, sleep, recovery, stress and vice management, and social connections. It's been known that improving these aspects of daily living may have an exponential positive impact in a person's health trajectory. This is in combination with other programs we have here, such as exercise readiness by our physiatrists, nutrition counseling by our dietitians, stress and pain management through complementary approaches like acupuncture, ventosa, cupping, and massage. On the other end of the spectrum with aesthetics, we are able to incorporate more aesthetic services for the skin and body, such as multimodal lasers to do things like reduction of fine lines and wrinkles, resurfacing damaged skin, skin lifting, and hair removal. Other aesthetic services also include hair restoration, facials, injectables, and a wide variety of aesthetic surgeries. All kinds of lifts, all kinds of augmentation and reduction, you name it. These services span across all age groups, from the young to the young of heart, even across all SOGIs. I, for one, am proud that Y stands front and center to deliver this unique brand of service to the Filipino people under the flagship of the Medical City. Adopting the Medical City's overall philosophy as the patient partner, we at the Wellness and Aesthetics Institute is your partner in your own wellness journey to help you achieve that better and improved version of you. We have transformed wellness so it can transform your life for the better.
Pleasant afternoon to everyone. So I'm Dr. Carol Dalian, and I head the Center for Preventive Health and Lifestyle Medicine. So our trust is to build a community of healthy Filipinos free from debilitating disease through preventive strategies. Our approach spans across the life cycle or life course of a person from childhood and adolescence to adulthood and geriatrics, and we believe that health conditions affecting adulthood and the elderly are primarily due to habits and mindset established during the younger years. Our unique approach is to be your partner in optimal health all throughout a person's life course. We do this by making sure the approach, execution, and plan for your health is tailored fit and customized for you, as we acknowledge and appreciate the uniqueness of each person. As mentioned earlier by Dr. Christian, we did a lot of health screening programs before. And if we do ever pick up actual diseases like a potential heart condition or a possible malignancy in any part of the body, we would proceed to refer the client to the appropriate specialty unit or doctor. That is actually all well and good. However, we do have individuals with borderline findings and or unhealthy habits wherein a gap in healthcare was revealed. The framework of the annual checkup and the expertise of the physicians involved were actually not enough to handle these cases. This was addressed by the Wellness and Aesthetics Institute in two ways. So we leveled up the expertise to include specialist doctors in wellness medicine, such as lifestyle medicine, and we created a subscription package akin to a gym membership to have more frequent engagement and follow through to coach these clients and help them get back to their health. Most service offering from our other units like the pediatric wellness and geriatric have also been...
Thank you for coming. Let me talk a little bit about aesthetics. No? So two main features of our aesthetic unit. One is that we value very much the potentiality of our aesthetic clients, and our detached hotel-like facility, no? Which was just recently renovated, provides exactly this, exclusivity and comfort. We pride ourselves in having dedicated operating theater upstairs, no, 7th floor, only for aesthetic procedures, and we have exclusive inpatient rooms also on the 7th floor to truly maximize the value of privacy. And we house credentialed physicians to deliver medical services focusing on safety and expertise. Our staff are likewise trained to uphold international standards of care safety, as we are a JCI accredited hospital. So what else is in store for aesthetics? We have two main sections under aesthetics. One, we have aesthetic skin clinic, and two, the aesthetic surgery unit. Both units have their respective ways in helping clients achieve their best goals. There are a wide variety of services under each unit, from skin assessment using Visha to rejuvenating facials, to injectables like toxins and fillers, and aesthetic lasers like Star Walker, Dial, Fraxel, Pulse Dye, and Softwave. We also have hair restoration, microdermabrasion, and chemical peels. These aesthetic skin services are housed here in the 6th floor. We also have a robust lineup of services under our aesthetic surgery, from the face down to the entire body. We do all aesthetic surgical procedures in a dedicated sterile room, the surgical aesthetics on the 7th floor. For us, in aesthetics, we do this because we believe that a big part of personal self-esteem and confidence is hinged on how people perceive us, and part of that perception is highly influenced by how we look. And yes, taking care of our looks is part of an individual's self-care and wellness. Thank you.
Checkups are happening once a year, but there is also a plus factor if you've been coming here every year for the past 5 years, 10 years, because you accumulate data. And so the following year, the doctors are able to really customize. In other words, certain things you don't have to repeat. You don't have to keep on repeating every year tests that you pay for that are not going to be any benefit anymore. But there is going to be a trend in terms of your profile over the years. Apparently, like you're becoming diabetic and things like that. And so there is going to be a customization. You end up not paying for the tests that you don't need. That's the problem with packages. You end up paying for things that you may not need. No? But when you are loyal to the medical city, why? You actually have a history with us, and we make use of that history and the data that you have, data analytics. No? So that is a plus.
The question is for those clients who are interested to undergo skin assessments. Skin procedures, can they ask anything to consult first, which would be the best procedures to get for them?
Yes, we offer that skin assessment. We have our dermatologist actually over there. No? They can do that for you. They can assess your skin and tell you what you need and what may help you.
And is that already included in the package, or is it a separate for just for consultation?
For the certain packages that we have, the core packages, the skin assessment is actually included as part of the general assessment of each individual. So they can also be assessed regarding the skin, hair, and the nails, and then be advised according to the findings of our skin specialists.
If I may add also, that's one strategy that we did, so that there is that integration component that we have between the wellness and aesthetics, that some of the packages, particularly the packages for wellness and for preventive health, we've integrated some services there and consultation to include aesthetics, particularly skin assessment. So that coming from the wellness side of the institute, they can be seen here in the aesthetics, so that, and then they can be assessed based on that skin assessment.
Good afternoon, everyone. So regarding services for the LGBTQ, is that a particular question? So for transgender and non-binary persons, services for gender-affirming hormone therapy, and we're also connecting people to gender-affirming surgery for those who want to avail of that. Also, of course, we're, a part of our team is psychiatry for mental health services for LGBTQ persons, whether it's related to gender dysphoria or anything else, basically. And then regarding for the any other services, because I know that even for persons who are not transgender or even not non-binary, and they don't necessarily want treatment for gender dysphoria. One problem, for example, for trans men, for example, is that they need also the preventive services for females. Sorry, I'll just take off the mask since you've seen it already. So they also need preventive services for females, and unfortunately it's very difficult for trans men, for example, to go to the OB/GYN offices and be with cisgender women who may look at them with some stigma and discrimination. As for transgender women, they would also need some services for preventive services as well, and that's where we loop in with wellness and screening for those patients, and also for any other services they require. Because remember, LGBTQ, there are specific health needs that they need that will need to be seen holistically, so that's the gender-affirming services. However, they also have health needs that they may not also be aware of in terms of screening, and that will be good for their wellness also. So that's why we loop them in. In fact, for our patients who we see, we're not just looking at them in terms of hormones, even if I'm an endocrinologist, we're also screening for diabetes, cholesterol, and all of these other common problems which may not normally be seen and we're also providing the safe space for them to be able to be seen and to be comfortable and get the services that they require. Thank you. If you're asking specifically about gender-affirming procedures and surgeries, then so some of that is being done by our plastic surgeons. The problem kasi is specifically for transgender persons in terms of just gender dysphoria and gender-affirming surgery, they go to small places. As someone who treats transgender persons, I have seen too many things go wrong in those places, right? Usually they see a cosmetic surgeon who may not be properly trained to do all of these procedures safely, and they're just being done for profit, diba? So, and that's what we're able to provide here as well, in line with our surgery, with the aesthetics, with dermatology, that they're able to provide those services safely and and also in line with the whole team. Kasi wala naman yun elsewhere. So that's the thing, that there's clearances, everyone's making sure that that patient is safe to get the services that they require.
If I may add, with a dedicated operating room surgery, are we alert for, this is a separate operating suite?
It's all in one roof. Okay, I know that the tagline one-stop shop is the bare minimum, but here it's the complete integration of all wellness services across the board, preventive health, aesthetics, and even across specialties, meaning from wellness to illness. If, for example, we see someone here that needs some specialty care, here's the hospital, they call it expert physicians who can manage that medical condition. The access is just here. Second, we are JC High Hospital, and we share that halo effect coming from PMC, and that ensures that everyone here is an expert, accredited, and we're doing it in a safe and effective manner. So,
You have to emphasize the anesthesia part, because a lot of standalone clinics that perform surgeries, the deaths that happen are not reported at all. I think we can talk about it.
Here, before you undergo any procedure that requires general anesthesia or sedation, we require you to undergo pre-op clearance with the anesthesiologist, or if needed, like a cardiologist, if you're 35 or 40 and above, then you have heart conditions or even pulmonary or lung conditions. But we're very strict with this. You make sure that you undergo the proper screening, that you are physically fit to undergo the operation with the required anesthesia.
Good afternoon. I always get mistaken for a doctor, but the nice thing about it, because I'm a layman, I can doctor speak, and if I make a mistake, or if I'm controversial, everybody forgives me. Okay? So, sometimes I think of wellness as akin to the sixth commandment and the elephant. People are unsure what wellness is all about. In fact, there's the contrast between wellness and illness. So I was just thinking, what if I create an analogy and try to unmask or unbundle or take out what the blind man and let the blind man see? What are the choices that happen in this person's eye as he opens and looks at the whole elephant? So the first is wellness better in a hospital or in a mall? What do you guys think? What are the advantages of having wellness in a hospital? I think we went over them. We talked about how there's a safety factor, there's safe harbor, there's a safe space for, especially when we talked about, I don't say binary, what's the term? Non-binary, for LGBTQ. LGBTQ. Okay, sorry, it's okay with me. So, think about that, the choice between what's wellness and illness as it relates to what wellness in a hospital like TMC can do for you. The second is wellness about traditional medicine at the fringes, or is it something more than that? Is it alternative medicine that breaks new ground? So associated with these terms are things like integrative medicine, anthroposophic medicine, acupuncture, and of course lifestyle medicine. So these things go against the grain, but then they push the boundaries. Functional medicine, they push the boundaries of medicine. And for me, that's what's important about how we look at wellness in contrast to illness. So what else? The difference between genome and epigenome. And how wellness pushes the frontiers of the epigenome. Or how your lifestyle and environment influences expressions of your gene through chemistry and the like. And I think wellness is an ability to move epigenetics a lot further in its journey as we look at the whole patient, not just his illnesses physically, but also his lifestyle. Another element here in this whole thing as to whether you identify the elephant by the trunk, the ears, the tail, the body, is nutrition. And usually we talk about clinical nutrition, and it's all a formula in terms of how you designate what people should eat. But I think we use a different term. It's called lifestyle nutrition. And there's a special training for it. It's also associated with functional medicine. And it's these elements, I think, that bring a new flavor to nutrition. And I'm hoping that nutrition will have a much stronger place in the wellness center. Another element is, are we talking here about healthy aging or anti-aging? Sometimes I look at YouTube and somebody tells me, you know, for the guys born this year, which is definitely not me, or in the last decade, maybe our beauty queens here do that, they can live to 150 years old. They talk about things like longevity hormones, and about supplements like, you know, what we normally know as things like metformin, which one of our doctors takes, you shall not go unnamed, or which is usually prescribed for people with diabetes, but can also actually reverse aging. Metformin, there's something called MNN, there's a controversial thing called Serbitrol, and then there's of course things like intermittent fasting, which I do, but I can't gain weight for whatever reason. So, are we talking here about healthy aging, or anti-aging, longevity hormones, or all of the above? And finally, the sixth element in the elephant, the sixth element has to do with mental health. So when we talk about mental health, we usually associate that with mental illness. With illness, and there you go into a neurosciences department, and there underneath that you have psychiatrists and the like to look after you. Maybe it's a little different with mental health. Maybe it's about psychology. And those disciplines that are the fringes of medicine, but take you along with meditation, yoga, ano pa? I don't have to remember, I do some of these things some of the time when I go into my YouTube and just pick whatever I'm going to look at today. In any case, I think all these 6 elements, if you take them together, you can really see the whole elephant. And in that respect, I think wellness is all of the above and more. So congratulations again on the opening of the Wellness Center. Okay.
Good afternoon. I'm Laika. I'm one of the supervisors or assistant manager of the Aesthetic Center. So the Aesthetic Center operates with two sections. This is the Aesthetic Skin Clinic, and then later we'll have the Aesthetic Surgery Clinic. So it mainly focuses on catering clients with elective needs to enhance or resolve clients' aesthetic issues. So for the aesthetic clinic, these are our offerings. I will cater to it one by one. Let's proceed this way. So for the aesthetic clinic, one of our new offerings are our facials. It is a skin care treatment that involves exfoliating and deep cleansing. So it mainly removes impurities and clogged pores. And then it also reduces acne marks and blemishes. So it can also prevent aging and promotes blood circulation and gives an even tone in radiant skin. We also have chemical peels to remove outer layers of skin to improve skin texture, lessens the appearance of wrinkles. So for our facials, we can inquire after the tour for the different facials. And then after that, we have various laser machines. We have pulse dye laser, which is for the blood vessels in the skin. It uses concentrated beam of light to target the blood vessels. So it can treat acne scars, and other varicosities. Laser machine. This specializes in angel whitening for the face, and then panda eyes for the eyelids.
Kailangan ko ng panda eyes.
It mainly focuses, that's the feature of this machine. The pitch of the faces, wrinkles, textures, maybe spots, red areas, and brown spots. So here, we can we will have a demo, and then later you can approach our team if you want to have it yourself.
Ayoko malaman yung sa fest ko. Fish. Parang yung pangalan ng Visha is the name of the machine.
Yes. We have here Dr. Francis. He'll be the one who explain in detail the results of Dr. Anna.
Okay, so texture, it can be anything from may mga scars kayo, or kunyari kung dry yung skin mo, medyo maging uneven yung skin ko, yung texture nyo. Pero kay Doktora, 96.
Grabe.
Mataas yung score niya. Pores, of course yun, 96, halos wala siyang pores. So yung pores can be congenital, na pwede ka pinanganak na malaki yung pores mo talaga. Or it can be because of build-up of dirt, makeup, oil, mga ganyan. So magdadilate yun.
So dapat po pag ginanyan, walang makeup?
Ideally, walang makeup. Para mas accurate yung ano natin.
I'm Dr. Marina. I'm a plastic surgeon. So inside we have two operating rooms. So you can do two cases in one time. And we ensure privacy from start to end. And only board-certified plastic surgeons operate. So that we can ensure safety of the patients and that we adhere to JCI standards at all times.
Sila. And then, one of the offerings po here is the Wellness Lounge. We're able to discuss the Wellness Lounge natin. So, si Wellness Lounge po are for patients that are needing for low nursing care, transitioning from another care facility to here po. And then, which provides safe place for transition from which promotes healing and wellness. So we also have different types of room. So dito po tayo. The first one that we'll be approaching is the deluxe. Annex po it. As in, wala talaga siya. As in, wala. Ano siya, annex siya talaga.
Okay.
Wow. So there's TV. Okay, you have your own TV, your own mini ref, personal ref there, then hospital bed, lamp. And then the room has its breakfast, lunch, dinner. Then snack.
Twin Valentine's Week.
Yes. Actually, we do have clients that celebrated their Valentine's
See?
Day.
Saan ko na eh.
Valentine's Day, they underwent executive check-up po.
Mga wala lakas ng trip ng mga yun.
Mahal. Ano tayo to? Executive check-up tayo on Valentine's Day.
Sa executive suite, provider, same, and then the microwave, of course.
Yes, a microwave. Magkano siya per day? Itong
Si
executive.
po, 13,000. 13,000 pesos.
10,000 plus plus. Kasi.
Hi guys, this is one of our nurses.
Hi.
Ma'am April and Ma'am Diane. So if you will be admitted here, you will be seeing them. They will assist you with your executive check. Okay, this is the wellness suite. This is the biggest room of the unit.
Oh, wow.
Okay, feel free to
Sinihan ng ano pa, bathroom.
Charot.
Hinahanap niyo yung area ng massage.
Wait lang sa huli yun.
Speaking of massage, sir, if you avail one of our, if you avail the package, inpatient, may massage po na kasama.
Gusto po.
Babae yung masusi. Pag masusi, ayoko niya. Kasi
Pwede naman po natin i-adjust. You have your walk-in closet, plus 4 different types, which are the deluxe, the executive suite, and then the couple suite. Couple suite. One of our offering as well is the acupuncture. Acupuncture. So the acupuncture is a complementary medicine. It's used to elevate pain, stress, reduces stress, and promotes healing. So we'll be meeting one of our acupuncturists here, the program lead of the section, Miss Amy. And
Good afternoon. These are acupuncturists. Welcome. Two beds, but usually only have one patient. Do you have any?
Do you have any concerns for our questions?
Usually po ang isang session, how long does it take?
Anywhere between 30 minutes to like less than an hour, 45 minutes.
For ilang session yung kailangan to achieve the ano?
Well, we offer usually kasi if it's chronic, bawang matagal na, talagang we cannot really expect it instantly na isa lang, no? So at least a minimum of 6 up to 10 or 12 or even more. But usually we get a result in the 6 or the 12. But if you really want it parang long lasting, I think it depends really on the condition of the patient, no? And what the complaint is, no?
Ma'am, ito po ba yung acupuncture? I'm not very well versed with acupuncture, but is it parang yoga na may iba-ibang klaseng yoga? Or when you say acupuncture, it's the same treatment that you'll get wherever in the world you are?
It's
needle.
Well, acupuncture is part of the traditional Chinese medicine. It's one of the many, Your question is, it's under World Health Organization, no? So we diagnose, we have conditions. It's both a science and an art. But it depends. Hindi kasi katulad ng Western, you have a headache, it's just basically one protocol. Now, in traditional Chinese medicine, it's possible you have a headache, but the causes are different. Now, it's due to dampness, or due to heat, or due to a strong emotion. We also take into consideration that and the constitution of the patient, and also where the headache is. No? Is it frontal, temporal, and how long the patient has, and what are the underlying conditions. So, some points may vary. So, but you are correct in assuming that wherever you are, kasi it's standardized already, whether in another part of Asia or you're in Europe, basta you are certified or you're really a professional acupuncturist, we sort of understand each other. No, halimbawa, they say, kasi yung nomenclature, let's say, this is yin tang, or this is somewhere here in near that stomach 36. Pero in Chinese, that's Susan Lee. So, mas poetic yung pero pag miski ako Pilipino na acupuncturist o Chinese o Swiss, pag sinabi kong stomach 36 o Susan Lee, alam namin lahat yun. Oo. Pero it depends really on that's why we call that pattern weaving. We look at the disharmonies, but we ask you several questions, we observe you, we get your medical history, we look at the tongue. Each tongue represents an area of your organ, of your body. We take the pulse. And this is a hospital, so it's complementary to Western medicine. So many of our patients also see our doctors, or they opt to try both. So that's okay. So we don't really touch the medication, especially if it's maintenance. No? So if they feel better, my suggestion is you go to your doctor and then we will see. And then sometimes they say they want to try, that's also fine. Kasi it's that's complementary. Yeah.
How about ma'am yung mga hindi pa ganun ka-comfortable na tinutusok-tusok ng needle? How do you convince them to actually try?
Well, I tell them, it's not really, of course you'll feel something, diba? Pero hindi naman siya to the point na sobrang sakit, like maybe minsan may konting electricity, may konting jolt, may konting it's supposed to last only for a few seconds. Then I tell them, if it's really painful, you tell me, alisin natin, we look for another Sometimes also if you're very tense, so it's hard, pag ganun ka, so matigas yung muscle, so minsan mahirap ipasok, so it's a very thin, it's parang buhok lang natin. So, it's not really painful. But halimbawa, there are also some points that might be a bit painful. I tell them, you might feel something, pero a few seconds lang yon. Usually, all of our patients naman are good with it. Nakaya nila yun.
Tolerable.
Oo. Hindi naman super. Acupuncture, just tell them, like, for Amy, I'm an acupuncturist, no? I'm not a medical doctor. Okay, so ano yun? So,
what do we call you?
Amy, Miss Amy. Kaya yun. That's called in Chinese medicine, it's Bai syndrome. Again, it also will depend on how long and if it's prolonged, no? But it can be helped. At the very least, I will tell you, there will be some relief. No, and then, kasi minsan pupunta sa amin dito, medyo, pero they see a doctor na rin, okay lang. I will not stop them from, kasi ayaw lang nila minsan ma-surgery. Naiintindihan naman natin yan, kasi yun na yung mga last resort. So, gagawin natin, kung makakatulong then go back to your doctor. But really, the best is prevention, but minsan di mo rin ma-help kasi may disposition ka, di ba? May genetic disposition ka. Miski lahat ginawa mo na, lumilitaw pa rin, So, but it can be, it's possible, it's one of the earliest, diseases that the TCM has, So, they have a different name, but when you look at it, that's it. So, yun. So it's also important. Western medicine has its strength, and the traditional or alternative medicine has its strength. So we take it together.
Thank you po.
The first stop is the Adult Wellness Center. This age group is from 19 to 59 years of age. So we'll go back here. Let's proceed right in first. Is our diagnostic area. We have our own machines like for cardio, for the heart, stress test, and echo. We have our stress, and down the hallway is our ultrasound. and our blood extraction area. Second to the last section is our pediatric and multi-specialty clinic from newborn to 18 years of age. We have our retainer pediatrician, but for the adolescent, we also have a retainer adolescent. Multi-specialty means per system, like neuro, cardio, endo, or the gastro area. So, by appointment basis kasi, a total of 18 doctors po ang pwedeng tumingin sa bata. The last stop is our Center for Healthy Aging. This is for senior citizens. We have 4 consultants, geriatricians. We also have packages according to their needs. So inside, dahil gerians natin fragile, kung naka-wheelchair, i-wheel na lang siya tapos compute na yung weight. Less weight reduction. First stop is the Adult Wellness Center. This age group is from 19 to 59 years of age. So then we'll go back here. Let's proceed right in first. Here in the middle is our diagnostic area. We have our own machines like for cardio, for the heart, stress test. We have our stress and sound and our blood extraction. Second to the last section is our pediatric and multi-specialty clinic from newborn to 18 years of age. We have our retainer pediatrician, but for the adolescent, we also have a retainer adolescent. Multi-specialty means per system, like neuro, cardio, endo, or the gastro area. So, by appointment basis kasi, a total of 18 doctors po ang pwedeng tumingin sa bata. The last stop is our Center for Healthy Aging. This is for senior citizens. We have 4 consultants, geriatricians. We also have packages according to their needs. So inside, dahil gerians natin fragile, kung naka-wheelchair, i-wheel na lang siya tapos compute na yung weight. Less weight reduction. This is for the BC. We have our own machine for that. So it measures the body mass index, and to expound the machine, it measures the distribution of water, fat, and muscle. So would you like to try someone?